Hello, welcome to Dan's Show on the Tube. I'm Dan, and we're going to do tonight's news and rumors video. And our top story today is going to be PWI's released their top 100 tag teams, and we're going to have the top 5 here on the show for you to officially name. So let's get to it. Okay, our first story is about the various injuries that happened in the War Games match. We're going to start out with the most mild and work our way up to the most severe. According to Sportskeeda, Jimmy Uso is scheduled to be back in January after a broken toe that he had acquired jumping off the War Games cage onto Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed was another injury, and according to WrestleVotes, he was seen in Birmingham, Alabama yesterday, which is where Dr. James Andrews is. He's the best sports medicine doctor in the world, so I'm going to assume that that's who he'll be seeing. He's seen Triple H when Triple H tore his quad. He's seen Kevin Nash after Kevin Nash tore his quad. Other wrestlers have sworn by Dr. Andrews. So I'm going to assume that's where Bronson Reed went. The injury is going to have him out till May or June of next year. The most severe injury in the War Games match was Tonga Loa, and Tonga Loa is out for the foreseeable future with a torn tricep. That's a long-term injury, so it will keep him out long-term. What these guys do is, like they say, it ain't ballet. Injuries do happen. I broke my nose on my first day of wrestling school. I was coming in for a backdrop. My opponent threw his head up too quickly, and I came in a little fast. It was a awful moment in the match, and I collided with his head and broke my nose. Big E broke his neck a few years back. Injuries are very real in the sport, and the folks here at Dan's Show on the Tube wish all 3 of these guys a speedy recovery so they can be back to entertaining the millions of fans and earning money for their families. Also, according to WrestleVotes Radio, the January 6th episode of Raw on Netflix is expected to potentially be one of the best Raws in history. Possibilities of being there are Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels. Also, if you have a WWE Legends contract, you're pretty well all hands on deck for the January 6th episode. People that are guaranteed there to be there pretty well are Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, The Rock, and John Cena. That'll be John Cena's first appearance in his last year as an active WWE superstar. I'd really like to see John win the world title one more time and break the WWE record for most title reigns. They recognize John Cena and Ric Flair both at 16. Any real fan knows Ric Flair won the title more than 16 times, but that is the official recognized number. John Cena winning the title would put him at 17, one ahead of Flair. And I really feel like with everything he's done for the company and everything he's done for Make-A-Wish that he really deserves that distinction. Also, that night, which is January the 6th, the main event for the show is scheduled to be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. They wanted to do that match at WrestleMania 40 the first night, but due to CM Punk injuring himself in the Royal Rumble match, he wasn't able to do that. So they're working the match out now. It's got a great build, and I think it has the potential to be a great match. Our next story comes from the Far East, and it comes from Tokyo Sports Pro Wrestling and the IWGP. Zack Sabre Jr. won Tokyo Sports Pro Wrestling MVP Award for 2024. He is only the second non-Japanese wrestler to win the award. Bob Sapp won it in 2002. He won this match off the strength of his year, which in his year he won the G1 Climax 34 tournament and used that momentum to beat Naito. I'm hoping that's the correct pronunciation. My Japanese is not so good. He went on to defeat Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on October 14th of this year. I believe if any non-Japanese wrestler was going to win that award, Zack Sabre Jr. deserves it. He's an excellent in-ring worker, and in a country where in-ring work is much, much more of a priority over mic work and character development, he has done a really outstanding job. I've gotten to see him work some on YouTube, as well as seeing him work in AEW a little bit, and I've seen him do some work for WWE in the Cruiserweight Classic. I really like him. He's one of my favorite foreign wrestlers, and I think it's an honor he deserves and respects. It's something that at the beginning of the year he claimed he wanted to win. He thought it was a long shot, but he thought it was also a possibility, and he's worked really hard, and he said he's been working in the sport since he was 14 to obtain such an award, and is really proud of the fact that he has finally won it. Our top story today is PWI released its list of the top 100 tag teams in the sport. And here I'm going to release the top 5 in reverse order, as well as explain how I feel about their particular spot on the list, or what they got going for them, or what they need to work on. Number 5 out of New Japan Pro Wrestling is the Mighty Don't Kneel, Nicholas and Shane Haste. I haven't gotten to see the New Japan Pro Wrestling as much this year as I would have liked. I don't know a lot of these guys' work. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup of 3 people. I'm going to try to pay more attention to New Japan this year, because I want to be informed for my followers. If you could, in the comment section below, write down some matches or some people that you think I'd enjoy seeing from New Japan, and we'll take a look-see and maybe review some of the stuff. Number 4 out of AEW is the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. I believe they're the top heels in AEW, other than MJF. But with that being said, I believe there's MJF, and then there's everybody else. He's miles ahead of all those guys. And I really think that when his contract was up last year, earlier this year, he should have signed with WWE. I really think it was a mistake to stay in AEW. The Young Bucks, they have a tendency to spam moves, fight throwing 25 super kicks in one match doesn't impress me. It also doesn't allow time for a story to breathe or a story to even really develop. The Young Bucks have never really impressed me. I am waiting to see what all the hype's about, and still haven't seen it. Number 3 is another New Japan Pro Wrestling team. It would be Goto and Yoshihashi. I can't really guarantee I can get the name of this team pronounced correctly. I believe it is Bishamon. Again, I have no real knowledge of them. I've heard of Goto. I've heard of Yoshihashi. I've never seen them work, but I have a knowledge of them as far as I know who they are. Number 2 from NXT was Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I don't necessarily believe they were the number 2 team in the world. I believe they were the best tag team in NXT throughout the last year, but not necessarily the best team in the world. Their ring work is spectacular. They do good, innovative moves. They do good double teams. They wrestle well together. Character-wise, they need a lot of work. Nathan Frazier's just a fast guy. He doesn't really have any developed character. If anybody does know what that character would be, you could leave me a comment below, and I'll try to see if I can decipher it and look at it from a different perspective. Axiom, he has a defined character. It's that he's a math superhero. What those two things have to do with allowing you the ability to be a WWE superstar, I don't know. I am really pleased with the work I've seen out of Axiom, but his character development is just god-awful and needs really to be reworked. Like I said, they might as well call him Calculator Man. He just no definition to the character. And they're getting along, they're not getting along, they're getting along, they're not getting along. That part of the story needs to flesh itself out and get over. The team hasn't really impressed me as far as their story work. It needs a lot. And the number 1 team in the world, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, in 2024 is Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. This team I cannot ever say enough good things about. They're one of my family's favorite teams. We all get excited when they come to the ring. Their look is an absolute 10 out of 10. They have fit bodies without the overly muscular look of female bodybuilders. Their in-ring work is great. They're one of the more innovative teams I've seen recently. Their double team moves are great. Their characters are well fleshed out. Their promo skills, while not on the level of a Ric Flair, a CM Punk, a Rock, they get their point across. You know what they're doing with the story, and you can understand it. And they've just been one of the most dominant teams in the sport this year. And when the time comes for them to break up, it'll be for a decent reason. It'll be somebody cost me a title. It'll be somebody cost me a match. I'm really hoping that they go with Jade as the babyface in that particular scenario because, while I enjoyed her heel work in AEW, I really think she could progress along in her career much better if she were to play the babyface and Bianca was to be the heel, because Bianca could lead them in their matches, and I really would expect a lot out of Bianca as the heel, and I think that when they break the team up, that's really the way to go. And in conclusion on Jade and Bianca, I would say the only team that really has the ability to beat them is themselves. No other team realistically you're going to say is going to outpower them. They're probably not going to outmaneuver them. They're probably not going to outfinesse them. The only disadvantage they have is they don't fly quite as well as a team like, say, Damage Control. But I really feel like they did deserve the vote as the best team in the world this year. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, we're doing a vote in the comments section. What would you like to watch for the watch along Monday? It will be either from WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, from WrestleMania 12, Bret the Hitman Hart versus the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in an Iron Man match, or it will be the 1992 Royal Rumble, which was the most star-studded Royal Rumble in history. More Hall of Famers were in that Royal Rumble than any other. And it was also the first time the title was put up in the Royal Rumble due to a controversial ending in a match with Undertaker and Hogan. That'll be it from me today. I will be back tomorrow with the AEW review and all the news and rumors that there are out there in the sport. Thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.